The situation in East Palestine is the clearest indicator to me that Donald Trump should be president again. I would prefer it if he was president now, and I would prefer it if in 2024 he wins the election and becomes president. There's a lot of negative news coming out about Trump. There's a lot of bad things he's done, a lot of accusations, and I'm just like, you know what? I hear it all the time, every time. I heard it before about Trump. I'll hear it again about Trump. But all that matters right now is Donald Trump is heading to East Palestine. Actions speak louder than words. You can insult the man. You can claim all these bad things about him. And he's not perfect. He had some dumb administrative moves. Don't get me wrong. But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at what Joe Biden does. And I'm saying, if this is the best bet we can make, I'll make that bet. Trump heads to East Palestine before any senior White House official to donate water and supplies. Ex-president will visit toxic train derailment site amid fury over Biden administration's lack of a response. That's right. Joe Biden went to Ukraine. It's I don't want to call it a black pill moment for me. More of a, I kind of feel like Joe Biden personally spat in my face. I don't like the guy. Clearly, I take issue with his policy or lack thereof and the corruption of the Biden family. But this exemplifies it to such a degree. I want this man impeached and convicted. Remove him from office. I don't care if it's Kamala. The insult to the American people, that is him flying to a country halfway around the world to gift $500 million while American people are suffering, is the perfect example of the corruption and rot at the core of this country. I'm pissed off about this, man. And then Donald Trump, very simply, strategically, opportunistically, and maybe I shouldn't be so negative on the guy, and maybe passionately, he says, I'm going to go help these people. I mean, Benny Johnson did it. Shout out, Benny. Keep shouting him out because he made a video where he goes and gives out $1,000 checks to people who are living in this immediate area. And it's like, yo, if that's what it takes, a commentator to make a video to get some clicks or whatever you want to call it, he's going to go help these people. The end result is some of these people got helped. 20 households. It's not enough, but it's a start. And how is it that Benny Johnson did more than the Biden administration? Pete Buttigieg ain't even showing up. Now, apparently, that Donald Trump is saying he's going to be heading to East Palestine. Now Buttigieg is like, well, I'm going there, but I didn't want it to be a photo op. Oh, shut up. You're only going there because Donald Trump is going there. For those that are unfamiliar, I think most of you are. This is where the train derailed. A bunch of toxic chemicals were on the verge of exploding. So they go in and they start draining out vinyl chloride and some other chemicals and then set them on fire, launching all of these chemicals into the air. And now there is a chemical plume, as reported by the governor of Ohio, heading down the river. And there's concerns that the water is not safe. Now, they got this PR op where they all cheers and drink the clean drinking water. You have to be nuts. You have to be nuts to drink that stuff. And I'll tell you why. Because we ain't playing no games. Take a look at this one. Where are we at? Akron Beacon Journal says, despite clear tests, Giant Eagle pulls bottled water from plant near East Palestine. Let me tell you what's going on. And then I know. Let's get to the Trump stuff. I should do this because I've changed the format. Head over to Timcast.com, become a member to support our work. Here's the promo shout out. By clicking join us and becoming a member, you're helping support this channel, the other shows we're doing. We're launching a new show on Friday, and it's going to be an interview hangout show, kind of like Club Random or Joe Rogan. And it's thanks to your support, we're able to expand into these other areas. This new show will give us an opportunity to explore ideas in the periphery of the culture war. The show is called The Culture War. It'll be a new podcast on Apple and Spotify. And typically what I do has always been news commentary. So this will be a little bit more in-depth interview style, which I think will work out. So anyway, become a member at timcast.com. Here's the point. Giant Eagle is pulling their bottled water plant. They're shutting it down. Okay. And you know what this means? The government can lie. And what can you do about it? You going to sue the government? Okay, sure. Maybe in 10 years, they'll take taxpayer dollars and pay you off with your own money. They don't care. Giant Eagle, well, they're a business. And as a business, they're going to be liable for what happens when they sell you a product. You see how this works? The water in the river. Hey, if you want to drink it, that's your business. Oops, we made a mistake. We thought it was fine. That's what they'll say. Can't hold us responsible. But if you bottle that water and then sell it to someone and they get sick because they're drinking nasty chemicals, Now that's your problem. So when the private corporation with liability says we will not sell this water, y'all should take heed because the government is probably lying to you. Let's give a shout out to Donald Trump. The Daily Mail reports. They say Trump is visiting on Wednesday the Ohio community upended by a toxic train derailment 19 days after the crash, but still before President Joe Biden or Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Republicans are reeling that Biden has not visited Ohio for himself, or at least deployed Buttigieg there to survey the damage and speak with local leaders about how the administration can best assist. Buttigieg, however, assures that he will visit East Palestine, Ohio, claiming he did not want to preemptively visit just for the sake of a photo op, which he suggested Trump is doing. Spare me. Just shut your mouth. I don't care. I haven't seen Trump issue a statement about Buttigieg, but I will tell you this. Joe Biden just gave $500 million to Ukraine, visited in secret, unannounced, and this was after the disaster in East Palestine. It tells you everything you need to know about what this president, the administration, and political party cares about. Because Pete Buttigieg could have gone as a proxy, and he didn't. Buttigieg should have shown up the moment it happened. What's that? Concerned about the air quality in your lungs and the water and whether it's safe? So are all of the people who live in the surrounding area. So bring a bunch of bottled water with you, get a mask, show up. You can't do that? Because if you show up wearing a mask, people will freak out and think something dangerous and bad happened? That's exactly it. They will lie to you. They will not tell you the truth. And it will be up to people like Trump to take the opportunity to prove the American people he's willing to come down and help. Here's my view. If Donald Trump was president, he would have come down immediately. He would have, first, I'd imagine Trump would order a federal response immediately. This is a county that voted for Trump twice. And then, once things were deemed safe, the president would likely come down. It doesn't make sense for the president to rush into, toxic plumes or whatever. That I get. So I can say that for Joe Biden. What I can't say is why would he go to Ukraine and give $500 million to them and nothing to this town? He could have given $5 million. How about that? How about that, Joe? $5 million. Just how about $5? Couldn't do it, huh? On February 3rd, a Norfolk Southern freight train derailed and released large amounts of toxic chemicals into the air. Okay, well, air, water, and ground, forcing evacuations as residents feared for their health. Some complained of headaches and other symptoms. Animals died. Fish died. Chickens died. And then J.D. Vance showed up. Wow, J.D. Vance. Where's anybody else? No one from the... Yeah, okay. He takes a stick and puts it in the river, in the creek, and he scrapes, and chemicals burst out. Because it sinks. It's denser than the water. It sinks to the bottom. And it's all there, and y'all are going to drink it. And that's why this company... Where is it at? Here we go. Despite clear tests, Giant Eagle pulls bottled water from plant near East Palestine. Out of an abundance of caution. It's because out of fear of liability. That's the reality. Biden's trip to Ukraine and Poland this week caused an uproar with Republicans demanding answers as to why he went to the war-torn country before addressing issues back home first. Because he doesn't care. Because it doesn't mean anything to him. Democrats know they've got cult zealots that will vote for them no matter what. Meanwhile, Republicans can't stop fighting with each other. It's funny. When Matt Gaetz led the charge against McCarthy in the House, Democrats called it fascism. They were like, the Republicans are so used to just taking whatever they want. They're now fighting with each other. And it's like, you mean the people who are demanding accountability amongst their own side, that's fascism. And y'all who march in lockstep with this president who's ignoring the American people isn't? Though the guy who's in favor of lockdowns, and these people, they support big pharma getting guaranteed no liability contracts. Yeah, I think we know who the fascists are. This one really grinds my gears, man. Biden finally broke his silence on the derailment on a Twitter thread Tuesday following a speech in Poland. So the man flies to Poland and then just tweets. It's just so annoying. It's frustrating. Yeah, I'm pissed off. The president noted that he spoke with the EPA Administrator Michael Regan Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown, Ohio Rep. Bill Johnson, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. East Palestine is right next to the border with Pennsylvania. It's about 35 miles from Pittsburgh. And that means it's also very, very close to West Virginia. I reaffirm my commitment to making sure they have everything they need, Biden wrote in a thread posted to his official Twitter Tuesday evening. He noted that the EPA ordered Norfolk Southern, the train owner and operator, to fund the cleanup efforts and disposal of the runoff and burn off of hazardous materials. This is common sense. This is their mess. They should clean it up. Yes, agreed. They should. But hold on there a minute there, partner. What do you mean? What do you mean clean up? What hazardous materials? What waste? I thought we heard the air and everything was safe. I thought we heard that it was the water was safe. So what's the clean up? Everything seems okay, right? Yeah. The chemicals likely burned up and then blanketed everything. And that's why the chickens died. That one pisses me off. Chickens probably died because they're very close to the ground. So when they flap their little wings, they kick up these chemicals, breathe it in, they die. Not to mention they're eating bugs and food off the ground, eating these chemicals, and then they died. I suppose if you're in the area, you need to get your chickens inside somewhere in a shed, something, and make sure it's clean. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is tough. I can only say that if my animals died and you are looking at 5,000 humans in the immediate and 5 million with a threat to their water supply, you'd think 5 million people would be enough for someone like Joe Biden, but it ain't. But don't worry, Donald Trump's coming down. Here we go. Take a look at this. Video of Pete Buttigieg confronted over East Palestine viewed 1 million times. And they always do this. This is the creepy thing about where we are culturally. They say Republicans were mad. An uproar with Republicans. Okay. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm not a Republican or whatever that means. I don't know. I'm not a registered Republican. I don't like most Republicans, and I voted Democrat more than I voted Republican. I've donated to more Democrats than Republicans, but in the past few years, I have been donating to Republicans. What this says to me, Democrats don't care. Democrats are likely making excuses for why it's more important. We're facing World War III. Do you really think you should be there? I know the disaster is bad and the people. That's probably what they're doing. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Make up any excuse for why a different country means more to our government than our own. Maybe it's because they don't care about this one. Maybe it's because Joe Biden's interests are not in the United States, but in internationalist policy. I certainly think so. I think Joe Biden cares more about a border dispute with Russia than the lives of the people he is supposed to represent and defend. Can I make sure we state that for the record? The war in Ukraine sucks, but it is a border dispute with Russia. Ukraine and Russia are having a territorial dispute. It is a border nation with Russia. Why is the United States, why is the U.S. president flying halfway around the world for this? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense if you think the president does not represent the American people. Okay, then I get it. Oh, right. Joe Biden is using the United States for its military prowess for international gain. I was kind of hoping that we'd have a president that cared about the American people, but we don't. Benny Johnson, he tweeted, a top-level security source has confirmed to me that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will be traveling to East Palestine, Ohio tomorrow. Oh, surprise, surprise. As soon as Donald Trump. The source tells me this move is intended to directly overshadow Donald Trump's visit. This source tells me that high-ranking members of City Hall Police, Fire, and Wastewater are aware of Pete Buttigieg's last-minute visit, but are refusing to meet with Buttigieg if Trump is there. This trip is specifically planned to take media attention away from Trump. Yeah, I'd say so. East Palestine schools closing Wednesday for Trump visit. According to the call, the decision to close the schools during Trump's visit was made due to the heightened security measures and street closures that will impact the transportation of students to and from school. So that confirmation is there. It's there. But let's talk about the water bottling. Let's talk about the serious nature of this. And I will stress this again. This is the point y'all need to share and take home. If a water bottling plant is shutting down out of an abundance of caution, what does that say for you and the water you drink? Do you think the government will assume any responsibility if you get sick from the water? No, they won't. And even if you sue them, it's your money they take to pay you back with. Now, Giant Eagle, you sue them, that's their profits. They can't just pull that from public coffers. This says a whole lot to me. The Akron Beacon Journal says, acting out of an abundance of caution, grocer Giant Eagle announced Tuesday it would stop selling gallon-sized or larger bottles of water manufactured at a plant about 25 miles southwest of East Palestine. The facility in question, which is a plant in Salineville, is that how you pronounce it? Salineville, sources its water from a spring near East Palestine, the site of the train derailment. Testing has not revealed any issues with the water in question, Giant Eagle said. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine visited homes in East Palestine Tuesday and drank tap water from each to reassure village residents their municipal water supply is safe. I don't believe you nor trust you. The only Giant Eagle brand products sourced from the Salineville facility and sold in our Giant Eagle Market District and Get Go stores are varieties of spring water packaged in gallon size or greater containers. Giant Eagle has been in daily contact with representatives from the facility and has learned the water used in these products come from a protected spring located at a higher elevation than East Palestine and is not near groundwater sources directly impacted by the incident. And they'll say that, but I don't believe them. Take a look at this. Here's East Palestine. Here's the problem, right? It's entirely possible that so the wind is going to the east. That's the jet stream and the wind patterns. So we don't have to worry about, chemicals blowing from this area to Salineville. Fair point. Higher elevation, confidence building. And it doesn't look like the water sources directly flow to Salineville. That being said, if they're going to have an abundance of caution, because these water sources, they do link up. If they're going to be acting in an abundance of caution, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't local government? Again, liability. Because they know there is a possibility that you could get sick from this, that there may be some contamination. And we've heard, you take a look here at this water supply flowing down through Pittsburgh. You take a look here. Let me go back to the map. You can see there is a river flowing down, and my understanding is it goes into West Virginia. That's what they were reporting, that a chemical plume was flowing down towards West Virginia. Lo and behold, there it is. It's actually the border of the state, it appears. And I think they were saying it was heading towards Wheeling. So think about that. East Palestine is here, and there's a chemical plume in this river. Which river is this? Is it the Ohio River? It's the Ohio River. West Virginia and Ohio impacted. And Salineville is literally right there, just next to that river. So I'll tell you this. The water may be safe there. Fine, fair point. I don't know. I'm not the EPA, but I don't trust them. I don't. And I think any company that's shutting down a plant out of fear of liability, you got to think about it this way. What are they worried about? Probably lawsuits, right? What are you worried about? Dead kids? Cancer? Yeah. Giant Eagle gets sued and it sucks. You drink contaminated water and then you die. Well, maybe not immediately. It's a big difference. I don't know what to tell you, man. I feel bad for the people who live in this area because it seems everything's contaminated. Take a look at this. EPA orders Norfolk Southern to clean up contaminated area. What do you mean? I thought everything was safe. Contaminated area? But where are these chemicals going? Yeah, the reality is it's bad. It's very bad. It's one of the worst disasters in this country in a long time. I don't know about worst ever. I don't know if it's Biden's Katrina, but I think this is going to have a massive impact on the upcoming election. 2024, we are going to see this, and it is going to be ringing in Biden's ears endlessly. Questions. When he debates, Donald Trump is going to have to drive this one home. Trump can simply say, to my fellow Americans, when a disaster occurred in East Palestine, Ohio, threatening the water supply for millions of Americans, your president, Joe Biden, left this country and went to Ukraine, a place most Americans could not find on a map, and gifted them $500 million. Why? He did not go to East Palestine. He did not help the American people. He abandoned them. Donald Trump didn't. Now, let me throw into the mix, as we wrap this up, a little DeSantis talk. Why I say Trump and not DeSantis? Because seeing things like this, Trump is a CEO. He is the executor. He is the guy who says, we're doing it, get it done. And DeSantis is the COO. So maybe a chief of staff, some people have suggested. I think probably a VP. He will have certain powers in certain areas. I think vice president is the way DeSantis should go. I know a lot of people really like DeSantis. I do too. Great policy, great leadership. But Trump comes off like the CEO. Trump, he's the guy. You're going to hear a lot of bad things about him. A lot of things I probably agree with. But you know what? It's election season. They're going to come out and smear Trump in every way imaginable. They're going to say he did everything wrong, but I don't care. I'm over it. I just want someone who tries, and I don't care why. And Donald Trump is going to East Palestine right now. If it's for a photo op, I don't care. Biden and Buttigieg couldn't be bothered to do a photo op to meet with some people who are suffering. Trump, at the very least, is getting a photo op and bringing supplies. Look, I'll tell you, I can't read Trump's mind. I don't know his motivations. But I can tell you when Joe Biden gives $500 million to Ukraine and abandons this country in one of its most pressing circumstances, I can tell you this. Oh, I don't want it to look like a photo op. You don't care at all. He doesn't even care about a photo op. He doesn't even care to look like he cares, let alone care at all. And Buttigieg, same thing. Trump, at the very least, you could argue he doesn't really care it's a photo op, but at least he's there. Biden doesn't care about you to the degree he isn't even bothered to get a photo op. That pisses me off. We'll see how things go. Trump will arrive. We'll get some more news out of this one. We'll see how it goes down, and we'll see what Trump does. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.